3, 2, 1.
If you are listening on the podcast format, make sure to jump on over to YouTube and Facebook.
Is this where we go on video and we have to like stand up?
This is where
and
we go.
look like.
This is where we go on video. You can't pick your nose. We can't do any of that, right?
Dang it.
So with that, we're going to be going on video here now, and we wanted to welcome this video because this is a very special one. Only the third time we've done this, and third time's the charm. We get the most decorated coach from Southwest High School, and I really, really appreciate having her here because as a student, got to know her, as a professional, get to work with her, and it's been nothing but a blessing. So Coach Sandy Hernandez, how are we doing? Awesome. So talk to me about this milestone, and then before we get into the milestone, introduce some of the players we have here. We've talked before to these people plenty of times on different outlets and different shows, but talk to me about the special players you want to bring along for this podcast.
Well, we're on video, right?
Yes,
so
we're on video.
I had to bring, some of the best looking on the
There we
team.
go.
So we have here Madison Alaquines, the senior, and Bella Gutierrez.
Perfect. Well, welcome. Thank you guys for joining us as well. Coach Sandy, 400 games won. When you look at the career you've had and you look at the people who have come through here as whether it be coaches, friends, family, players, anything like that, professionals, talk to me about just your career as a whole as a Southwest staple, especially for softball.
Well, I think back to the day that I came in for an interview with Matt Elliott, and he was wearing shorts and black socks and just some
and his
pair of
Birkenstocks
shoes,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. And he asked me a few questions, and he said, "Okay, well," he didn't use this word, but he said, "Don't mess it up."
Sure.
And so I went with it, and then they paired me up with this awesome gentleman. His name is John Velasquez, and he had some head coaching experience in Floresville. Was a very successful guy. He had almost 300 or so wins under his belt before, and so they paired me up with that guy, and I learned a lot from him. And may he rest in peace. But that was my first partner in crime there. And in 2009, I was blessed with so much talent after Coach Luna. And we were in the Laredo district. So we were on the road all the time. Yeah. So that right there, going to the Valley right away in the playoffs, it was an experience, and it showed me the whole state of Texas competition. You know what I mean? And so I knew where we had to be and where we were going. And I've just been blessed with some great pitchers, and also some great hitters. I mean, I got to coach Aaliyah Ortiz, who led not just the state, but the nation in home runs at one point. And so thank you for all those wins, Aaliyah.
There you go, yeah.
And then, of course, I mean, I've had, Terry Camarillo, who took over at Legacy when they opened up, and alongside, one of my best friends, Katina, was my coach there too when we went to state. And then I got blessed that Coach Daggy wanted to come back to Southwest, and when Miranda came back as well, and Miranda was also a leader in the city in home runs and stuff. So if you surround yourself with some good people, there's no doubt that you're going to be successful. And so I've just been blessed, and Coach Wagner has always been behind me and bringing those people to be around me. And
sure.
So I can't take all the credit. My players are amazing, even these two.
Yeah.
But it's all that 400 means is that I'm old, and I've been here a long time. So
I love it. Well, talk to me. We'll start with some of our student athletes, and again, if you don't mind, just introducing yourself for the listeners, and then also talk to me about what it means to be coached by Coach Sandy, because I don't know if you're able to grasp it as a student athlete, being an alumni here, being there for the state run, being there for the big playoff games and stuff like that. It's really fun to see you hit that milestone, but also to see the new blood and get to talk to you. I know I've talked to you and your sister plenty of times for Beyond the Arches and stuff like that, but talk to me about, does it feel special to know that a coach like that is coaching you and guiding you as a senior and as a player here for Southwest High School?
Of course. Okay, so my name is Bella, a senior here.
And I'm Maddie. I'm a senior as well.
And I think just being coached by Hernandez has been like a great blessing, honestly. I think having a coach like her and the mentorship all 4 years that I've been here. It's just great to grow as an athlete and as well as a person. I think she's for sure built leadership in me, and that's something that I will continue to take on after high school and in the real world, and I think that's something that she's kind of built us for, just the real world and just learning along lessons and something like that.
Yeah.
I think she's taught me a lot of accountability. I've learned to lead others. The people that she had as our leaders, like throughout high school, like I try to be like them or try to do better, like learn from them as well. And I think I've really matured, her being my coach, and it's just really a blessing.
That's awesome. I love it. I love it. Now, to flip the script, right? Coach always seems so cool, calm, collected when she's with us. Always seems so relaxed. Talk to us about kind of the coach you get to practice with and the grind of getting to 400 wins. You don't get to 400 wins without, doing a lot of good things right, and it all starts at practice. So talk to me about what you guys get to experience from the good side, that's not saying the bad side, but the good side, the competitive side. What does that look like?
I think, honestly, the competitive side is what makes our team like our team, because without that, we really wouldn't have it in us. If she was just nice all the time, I think we probably wouldn't get as much wins as we did. But she is like that most of the time. It's just like when you start to slack and you start to like lose that, like what she taught us, like it's kind of like then she brings it out and it's like, okay, like yeah, like she's gonna get on.
Keeps it in check. She keeps
keeps us in check. But I think like that we need that other side, because if not, I think we'd just be too complacent and like we wouldn't grow from it.
Great answer. What about you, Bella?
I think it's just tough love. I think that's all I've gone from her. It's just she wants the best for everyone, especially her athletes. And I think that's something that she's kind of built on all of us. Just tough love, accept it, know that she wants the best for you, and just grow from it. That's all you could do from there.
Right. Now, Maddie, I wanted to ask you, you mentioned something before we started the show, and I want to kind of bring it back a little bit. So a little peek behind the curtain. You say your team as a freshman was the only one that wasn't able to go to the postseason, and you were like, I feel so bad. Talk to me about why that season was so special and needed, though, to grow to what you guys are now.
I think it was more of like motivation for me, at least. Like, I know if I was a senior that year, I would have been like pretty devastated. And like for coach, like I know like that was like hard, like to take that hit, because it's like, it's kind of like all everything that's built up. Like you want to keep that name for yourself. So it's like the next couple of years, I just kind of made it like a point to, I want my team to, go to playoffs. If we're making it to first round, we made it to first round my sophomore year, and then my junior year, we made it to second round. So it's kind of like we're building back up to like go further out. But I think this year's like pretty special, and I feel like we could do something with it.
That's awesome. And Bella, talk to me about the team as a whole. Every time we go talk to you guys, it seems like good vibes. The camaraderie is there. You guys are laughing. There's some seriousness, right? Because Coach Hernandez is competitive. But talk to me about the group of teammates that you guys have, and not only Coach Hernandez, but the coaching staff as a whole, and how that comes together to make a special team.
I love answering these questions only because I think this team is like one of our best. Like I can truly say that we get along well. The chemistry's there. Our coaching staff is like one of the best. I can say that for sure. Not only are they our coaches, but it's someone that we can get along with for sure. They teach us in and out of the classroom, on the field. This group is like really special. I know with Ange, everything going on with Ange, we kind of play with purpose now. It's something that's built our team for sure. So I think just with the girls, the way we get along, it's just something, it's fun. It's fun to be with, fun to be around. So I really do look forward to this playoff run that we are going to have. So it's a fun group to be around for sure.
That's awesome. Coach, now I've asked the students, talk to me as a coach, what makes this team special? What are the strengths of this team, and being able to grow with them and seeing players like Maddie and Bella that you've coached for years come into their own and kind of lead this team? How special is that for you as a coach?
I think it's like, these two, and there's a few other seniors as well. They've been through so much. And so when you go through those ups and downs, you have this purpose for each other. Mm-hmm. And I believe they have it. And this team, and I haven't said it enough to them, and I'm glad they're here to hear it, but I am so proud of them. They've had so much adversity this year that has hit them. I was gone for 3 months. Mm-hmm. Our pitcher, our starting pitcher at that time, pitched one district game. And then after that, they won, 8 or 9 games in a row after that. And then we get the news that she has cancer. You know what I mean? So the ups and downs, what they've been through outside of the field, has built that camaraderie, and they said it right now. They have fun together. And, he talked about the soccer team, and I don't want to keep bringing up soccer, but when you watch those boys, they didn't want that season to end.
Sure.
And so that's what makes a team special in the playoffs is like, how bad do you not want this season to end? It's like, it's great if you want to win, and it's easy to say, yes, we're going to win, yes. But it's like, when you actually think about it, like, we don't want the season to end, so it's not going to end this weekend.
Yeah.
And so hopefully we can continue it for a while now.
Gotcha.
So I have a couple of questions. So Maddie, what's it like playing with your sister?
It's kind of tough. Like, I mean, not in a bad way. It's just, I mean, we compete with each other. Like last year, we were competing with our stats. We were both. I was leading in batting average, and then towards the end of the season, then she was leading. So it's like she beat me barely. So it's like we compete with each other. And it's
big sister. You've admitted that on video, just so you know.
she knows that we like, it's like competition between each other, but at the same time we also play two different positions. So it's like she's in the infield, she's either catching or she's at third, and I'm in the outfield. So it's like we kind of don't really like cross paths too much, and it's like, but we do hold each other accountable. Like, hey, like, you're doing this wrong, or so it's like, I mean, we hold each other accountable, and she's usually, most of the time, she's there to talk me up, like, to get me ready for, like, my event.
Most of the time?
Most of the time, but there is some times where we kind of, like, bump heads, but, yeah, it's fun, and I feel like a lot of people don't really get to experience, like, playing with their sibling. Like, some people's, they're, oh, I wish I played with my sibling on the same field, so this is our last run together, so I really hope it lasts, and, yeah, make it a good one.
And my next question is, and for all three of you, is Southwest softball was the first team to even go to a state tournament as a team sport.
Yep.
Brandon was probably one of our first like Dragon Warriors in terms of just spirit and things like that. So like what we brought to the soccer game, he was a big part of the 7 or 8 yellow dogs that we took as spirit buses to and sold out the UT stadium that day. Like literally,
insane.
The Woodlands had about 100 people there to our 3,000.
Also,
something like that.
Dude, Dr. Versta, that is
And
the coolest thing I've ever seen anybody ever do. Like,
the only problem with I don't know if Brandon wore a shirt that day, and that was a little bit depressing.
That might have been the only part that wasn't super exciting. Don't worry.
Nevertheless, so here's my question. First of all, as the before the Warrior program started, we have 2 Dragon Warriors of the Week with us, and 2 of the top ones in the entire school. So thank you for that and your leadership. And then talk to me it was like during the soccer run, everybody kind of looked at softball. What's it like to be in the program that kind of let people say, no, it's not a dream, it can happen at Southwest, and then watch them do it and then be in that program in the middle of your season doing that at the same time? Does that make sense what I'm asking?
I mean, yes.
I mean, it's kind of a vibe, right?
Yeah, I mean, Coach Hernandez and Coach Romero they're pretty close, so it's like, that they share the same, like, the same mentality and everything. And Coach Romero really does, he does, like, he talks to his players and he prepares them for them to be, successful and everything. He sets them up for that. And I feel like knowing them and being that most of their team is full of seniors, like, it's like for us, it's kind of like almost like motivation again, like inspiration, almost like we want to have the same run. We want to have everyone in the school, be there for us as well. Like, it's just kind of exciting knowing that it's possible for sure for them, so it can be possible for us too.
And I think what's pretty neat about that, and maybe not a lot of people know that, but y'all played Win the next day after that game, and we moved that game so we could make sure that you all wanted to go. Like the whole team was like, I know Coach Hernandez and I was like, oh, do we have enough spirit buses? Otherwise, we're going to buy our own, and we're taking the softball team to go watch the game and stuff like that. So kudos there. What do you think, Bella?
I think for sure following in the soccer's footsteps, just like Maddie said, Hernandez and Romero have a great chemistry together. So both coming up along that mentorship and that leadership just continues to grow us. We had a great district run, not the outcome we wanted, but it's something that we're going to grow from and kind of move forward towards. we all have a goal towards the end, and it's something that we're just like, it's growth, you know. It's just like Maddie said, freshman year we didn't make a run, sophomore year we went first round, last year second round. You know, we just want growth, and I think that's something that as a senior I can say means a lot, just having growth and knowing that the program is growing. You know, it's we're not pushing it back down. It's just growth from here on.
And y'all almost, people don't know, y'all almost took out Coach Romero. We were practicing your celebration, and what was it, Florida? Who are we copying or something like that when they jumped in and
North Carolina.
yeah, and then he jumps in like he hit a home run. Let's be fair, he did not hit a home run and stuff, but he comes through and he jumps in there and they almost threw him out of the stadium.
Oh my God.
And I was like, we almost lost him for a minute, but that was pretty awesome.
Yeah, we have video to prove, but Romero,
the innocence.
Yeah, we're blessed because Romero has to cross by our field to go to practice, and so every once in a while he'll come and he'll blurt out some stuff to the girls and pick on them and stuff, and so we've built a relationship with Romero, and so when we weren't able to be there in Katy, we did have the game up in the iPad, and like I tell them, never will we ever be distracted unless it's the soccer team in the state semifinals. Okay, but we didn't get to celebrate with him. So
Sure.
Thank God Coach Wagner was there to help us out. We were like, hey, get over here. It's a directive. You need to be here. And so we were able to simulate a home run for him, and it was fun. It was fun to be able to do that for him and for his program because he deserved it.
That's so awesome.
So how much did he talk to you about on this run, and how much did y'all kind of collaborate on everything, being that you're the only one that's really done that, you know what I mean?
Each game he'd call, and we talk a lot, but he called and his first question would be like, what's next? And I'm like, don't take it easy. Don't just be satisfied with being there.
Sure.
And so, and I'm pretty sure that I had nothing to do with that.
Right.
But, that's just one thing that, I want our kids to know. It's not just getting there. You know what I mean? It's competing. It's having pride for Southwest, and those boys did that. And I'm just so excited for them.
Well, and also I think just dealing with 4 straight weeks of when this in 2014 when the softball team went to state, that was the first time when we started doing send-offs all the time and everything. I just remember going by, we were getting ready to go down to Kingsville, I think, to play San Benito, and we got a charter bus to go down there, and we had to get there to check in the hotel and everything, but I think it was a wine tour bus or something like that. And it went by, and I looked at Dr. V, I was like, I didn't order that. I don't know what's going on with that and stuff. But I mean, it looked pretty comfy. But anyway, things that are kind of
things that have changed though.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But the crazy that is in when you start to make after that second round, like the basketball team started to feel it, the football team. But then you hit the next one and the next one, and they went, 6 times, and so there's 4 of them. We had 4 different send-offs in different ways.
Crazy.
And so you get caught up in and I remember talking to Coach Romero, and we had these same conversations in 2014. It's like, okay, how do we make sure it's business though? Because you don't get another one if you don't go down there and take care of business. Am I right?
Sure.
Yeah. And it was, I had tears in my eyes on some of the send-offs that we had. So kudos to the athletic department for making sure that they were celebrated and stuff. But I think that, just seeing the people, I wasn't able to be there, but seeing the people that filled that stadium that day, that lets the boys know that they are supported and that it's bigger, you know what I mean? And so I think it's, yes, it's a lot, but it's so awesome how this community comes together for them. So
yeah. And I wanted to kind of ask the girls as well. So I was a senior during Team 22. That was my senior year. Great way to end the senior year as far as going out and bang like that. But talk to me. We held last year that Team 22 little luncheon that was kind of private just for you all, and to celebrate them and the 10-year anniversary. You guys were able to talk to some of those players. I'm sure Coach was able to maybe introduce some of them to you, stuff like that. When you guys look at that team, I wanted to ask first, were you able to kind of have conversations with them, or what did you think about that kind of celebration? And then, Coach, are there kind of remnants that remind you of that team here now 11 years later with these seniors and what that kind of looks like? So we'll start with the girls first.
I don't think I personally wasn't able to really have a full conversation with them, but I know we did like a softball exchange where they were able to write some words on a ball. So I think I still have that one at my house. So just being able to have some words from them, you know, how they were able to be successful, words that encouraged them throughout that time. It really does help. I think having any little word, any little like moment with someone so special that was able to make that run, it's really like encouraging, you know, to have that by your side, especially here from the school, you know. So
Sure.
Unfortunately, I was not able to make that night.
Right.
But hearing the way that coach speaks about that team and like knowing that Coach Vargas like kind of like looked up, right? She was like after them. I think that they're definitely proud. They're definitely was it?
She was before
Coach Vargas and I had a great conversation about this yesterday. We were like, you were the problem because you're the only one that left after that team.
No, but like hearing the way that they're like people speak of them, it's like they definitely had like grit. Like they worked really hard. They did the extra stuff. They put in more work and they worked really hard. And I think that like for us, it's like kind of like you keep that in the back of your mind, like you don't just put in the work and practice, like you have to do more. Sure. So I think like they kind of like lead the way for us for the future.
Yeah. What about you, Coach, as far as similarities or things that you see that there's
definitely, because I'm not sure if people really recognize this, but in 2014, that was the most losses that I had at that point in one season. And so it wasn't supposed to happen. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, numbers wise,
sure.
data wise, that team wasn't supposed to make that run. And I just talked to y'all about this yesterday. You take some falls during the season and we took a hit, and I really don't want to talk about it, but we took a hit the other night, and you know, it came back on Tuesday after it kind of sunk in and stuff. And I told them, you realize we got 10-run ruled twice in 2014 in game one. And that meant that we had to come back and beat that team that just 10-run ruled us twice to move on. And so it doesn't matter what has happened thus far. It's what you're doing now to prepare you to keep on going. You know what I mean? And so this team kind of reminds me of that, because they've taken some falls. We've had a whole bunch of adversity this year. And so I think it's gonna show in the playoffs, and I hope that I really want them to have the best experience. So yeah, I'm hoping that it's this year.
I'm loving it. Any last questions for you, Coach?
Yeah, I have one. So I asked Coach Romero this too, and I think that that as we have really successful programs and coaches and things, what we're trying to do is create systems that allow all of our programs to be continually successful.
Absolutely.
And so that it's not just one coach or one, but that system and the community are building those things. But you know, as when you play that podcast from a couple of weeks ago with Coach Romero, and I remember when my daughter came through, when we would look out and be like, okay, she plays for the Blaze, she plays for the Hit, she plays for the Bombers, she plays for Mercado, she play all of these, right, and stuff like that. And so I asked Coach Romero, and I ask you the same question, is like, what's the recipe for building a program that you get to 400 wins? Because I mean, you're kind of the gold standard for what we're trying to make across the board. And so I think that football is different than every other program in terms of how you do it to a certain degree. Everything else is so skill-based. So what is the recipe for that continued, every year you're in it, you know what I mean? And then that 1 or 2 years every cycle is like when you got everything comes together with chemistry and the pitching and the talent and everything, that you can really make a run. You know, how do you do that? What's the recipe for that possibly?
I think at first it's got to be the want. And so, you know, when we had Legacy over here and I worked with Coach Bocanegra on this, but just bringing in that community and letting them see it. And so yesterday at practice, a little girl came up to me and she's like, Coach, congratulations. I'm like, for what? And she told me, and she was she's a 5th grader. I think she goes to Spicewood maybe. Carly De Leon, I believe is her name. And she, her mom was like, she wants to play, you know, softball. And she had her little glove and she had a ball and she was just walking around the field. And so just sparking that interest for them to want to be in the program. And so these girls do that. You know, they come out and we watch them play, and they get excited, and then that sparks that fire to do all the work and to be a part of the summer programs that, you know, that are costly and time wise, and it takes a lot of sacrifice and stuff. So definitely that want is the first thing, but then just creating those standards and sticking to your standards is something that I've been talking to them a lot about. It's like, I'm not going to waver from my standards.
Sure.
You know, I try to grow as a coach with the generation and the differences in who I was coaching in 2009 versus who I'm coaching in 2025. But, you know, those standards are important because, you know, if you want your program to succeed and to be successful all the time, you have to instill those in these girls, and they get it and they got it. And, you know, it's something that I'm happy for them.
Yeah. Well, we're extremely happy for you guys too, and excited to see what this year leads to as well. And, you know, I've been here for 4 years working for the district, so your class is the first class I've got to really fully see through. And so we've been able to interview you guys, you and your sister, looking at, you know, set up extremely fun events for me, like that Team 22 event, stuff like that. And so we're very, very excited. We're so happy you guys were able to make it on the podcast, and we're going to be cheering for you guys pretty consistently. And Coach, you know, you are always welcome in our little Oprah Winfrey setup to join the podcast for sure. We love talking to you. So thank you guys so much for being a part of the show, and we look forward to talking to you guys more as well as the successful season continues. And so with that, this is going to be the Scoreboard Podcast. My name is Brandon Medina. That is Peter Wagner. This is the Southwest High School softball team, and as always, we are
Southwest.
3, 2, 1.